All right, so this is going to conclude. Let me show you something. Look right here. Let me get that light. Okay, do you see what I'm looking at?
Oh, that sand?
Yeah, that's right. There's your dustless blasting for you. This is just the conclusion to what dustless blasting really is. Because yeah, sure it's dustless, but it goes on wet and it's like mud. So everywhere that it gets, guess what?
It
stays on there. So there's your dustless blasting. I'd rather have the thing sand blasted. It's gonna take us hours, months. All right, what is this? This is 3 months later after we had it done. Now, I've got to replace this quarter panel. Look at this. I don't fucking believe it. Look at that. Look at it on the ground down there. Look at that. All right, so the next time you want to get your car dustless blasted, it ain't nothing about dust. The only thing it is a bunch of water mixed with sand on a high pressure volume that's putting dust in your car, and it's not even dust, it's sand.
And leaving mud behind.
Leaving mud behind. There you go.
That you'll have to clean up.
So, you know, we haven't even got, look at this. Look at that. That fell out of this thing. Look, you can see where it fell out right here. Because I had it dustless blasted. Inside and out.
Screaming in my ear.
I had it dustless blasted. The deck lid dustless blasted inside and out. Look at this. Look at it falling right there. Zoom in on that. Look at that. My suggestion is, don't get your car dustless blasted. It's a joke. It's a sham. It's a scam. You got anything else to say?
No, Pete, I don't.
Okay. So should you tell everybody to go ahead and get it done or say no?
We've already done this.
I'm asking you a question.
We've already done this.
This is just the ending section of it, 3 months later. This is 3 months later.
And you're still screaming and shouting about it. Obviously not.
Well, look at all this. This is just from sitting here.
I fucking told you not to fucking do it. Why don't we get right down to the nitty gritty? I told you not to get it fucking mud blasted in the first place.
Well, you saw what happened.
Before the guy even came here, I told you it wasn't a good
Well, the guy
idea.
said it was a good deal. What am I supposed to do?
Listen to your wife, who's on your side.
Is that all you got to say?
Yeah, yeah. For all the trouble we had, I could have stripped it by hand.
Yeah, you ain't in there. It's a joke. If you want to do anything, that has the word blast in it,
don't do it.
that has the word blast, get it soda blasted. I did the hood in soda blast and look at it. Inside and out. Beautiful, clean. I rinsed it off with water. It's a done deal.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
We got the quarter panel back off the car. Now, this is in the right spot, so I'm going to go ahead and weld this up. We don't have to move that. That's perfectly set. Once that's welded, I'll remove the screws, then I'll weld it on the inside. What I went ahead and did, and this is good, get a little lesson here. This is a little bonus track on this set, is that when you got a part like this, you should go ahead and remove that quarter window and make sure that it's rolling up and down. All your rollers are in good shape. Lube your rollers up, lube your track up. And then also, as you got it out, you can go ahead and clean this up. And I see right here, when I blow that out, if Minnie will look down in there, we're gonna go ahead and re-seam seal that area right there. I'll dig that old seam sealer out. You can see where is that a piece of metal or what is that right there? Okay, that's a piece of metal. But what we'll do is we'll clean that out real good. Get all this cleaned up for him. We'll go ahead and weld this up, get it done. We'll put the window back inside once I get it cleaned up, lubed up, and ready for installation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some carb cleaner right there, and we're gonna go ahead and clean all these off. This is the track. We're gonna go ahead and spray some cleaner on that. And you can see that this car is actually in really good shape. Look how clean the tracks are on this. You know, I think the guy got a really good deal. And I don't even need to replace these rollers. Usually the only time you need to replace them is when they're dry, cracked, and you know what I mean, Minnie?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got our window crank, and this one seems to be in really, really good shape. So what I'll do is I'll repeat my process. And I'm just going to clean everything up with carburetor cleaner because it's not in bad shape and it will last many, many years. We'll go ahead and clean the teeth off, get all the grit out of them. And if you want to take it a step further, you can go ahead and paint them and, you know, do this, that, and the other, but you'll never see these. My personal opinion, if they're in real good shape like they are, like this one, you know, if you're not gonna, even if I was gonna do some guy a concourse restoration, I think that painting these and dipping in them and cadmium plating them and all this and buying brand new, it's all bullshit. Okay, what do you think, Minnie?
You're never gonna see it.
I think that concourse restoration shit's overrated. Would you agree with me on that?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so we got them cleaned up. You saw how quick that was. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and get my axle grease, which is right here. Axle grease could be used for a lot of different things. And look what I'm doing here. I'm going to go ahead and lube these rollers up because these rollers are in good shape. There's no sense replacing stuff that still works and is in real good, excellent condition. We're going to go ahead and lube this one up as well. And this one actually swivels, if I can get it to swivel. So once the grease works its way down in there, it will free itself up. And then the track right here, of course, we need to get some lube on that. Just like that. And this can be a messy job, so just letting you, the viewer, know that it can be a messy job. Stick with me here, we're doing this real quick like. Always remember when you take these apart what way they go in. And what I did is I actually took a picture of it in case I had to take it apart and go by pieces. So I did take a picture of it for further use, but when I took it apart we found out that the rollers were in good shape. So this goes in here like that. Okay, so that's installed. And then what we'll do with this is we will go ahead and put a little bit of grease down this side here. And it doesn't take a lot. Just a little bit's all it takes. We'll get a little bit of grease right here on this one here. You don't really want to put a lot on there anyway because it'll sling on the glass and when the car gets hot in the sun. So you just want to grease it up just a little bit. Okay, just to let it last a little longer in life.
What about getting that big glove so it's not all over the...
And that'll clean up later. Right now we're just not worried about cleaning. Minnie, the body shop girl.
Well, I don't want it slung all over the glass because then I'll have to clean it up.
So now, when I took it out, it was real hard, but look how it slides now. Okay, really nice. And once the grease lubes all these other parts up, to be extra precautious, we'll take some WD-40. We're going to squirt the WD-40 down inside these rollers. And within due time, those will definitely start loosening up and working again. So we don't care about the glass right now. We got Minnie the Body Shop Girl for that. That will clean it for us. So our final and last roller is this one right here. And you can see it's in good shape. Now I will tell you about this little roller. You can't buy that roller separate. You got to buy the whole window crank. Stay away from aftermarket window cranks. They don't work and they're junk. So let me get some grease on that, like this. And one more thing I want to get some grease on, which is very important. I don't know if y'all saw me take it off, is I want to grease up my gear. I want to get that gear nice and greasy. See there? Alright, and where else there? Okay, let's put a little grease right in here somewhere. On these joints here, possibly. Because what will happen is the heat from the sun and wear and tear, it'll melt that grease down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of the window cranks, and then I'm just going to run it through the gears, just like this. You can already see, Minnie, how it's working a lot better. Am I right?
Yeah.
You can see the grease moving, and everything is working. So that's what you want. And see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little goes a long ways on these things. You don't have to do a lot of grease. And one more thing about these, I'm going to go ahead and get this back in there. You want to do as much as you can when your car is torn down for places that are very hard to get to. For me to do this one over here, when I dismantle that one, I'm going to have to take everything out of the hole inside the car, and it's going to be a real pain in the ass. So you can kind of see the situation we got. When you got easy access to the situation at hand, that it's a lot better to do it now than later. Let me get this welded in right here. We're going to get it welded in place permanently. When we come back, you can already see I got my flange right here. I got my butt weld right here. I got to trim this piece off right here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a line right there where my finger is. That's got to be trimmed off. Alright, and then this will fit. This will all butt weld together. I got my flange down. I haven't put a flange on this yet. I did mark it though. So we need to cut that off. I need to cut this off, put my flange on there, and then once that's done, we're ready to go ahead and permanently mount the quarter panel. Alright, what this is, if you have been following this video series all the way from the beginning, is this piece right here. Now, remember when I told you it was rotted out and I cut through it and all that? Well, and I told you I was going to fix it and replace it. Well, they actually make a replacement piece. Now what this is for, because you're probably asking yourself, why is he going to replace that? Is this actually sits just like this. And what this is a quarter panel support. And what that does is that supports the quarter panel, so when you get stress in this area over here, Minnie, the body shop girl, you won't get a crack in your quarter panel right here. That's what this panel was designed for. This keeps the quarter panel area up in this, so when you get all this weight and all this motion in the back, it doesn't cause the crack here. Now, a lot of people, when they replace quarter panels, they don't put this back on there. Alright? I don't even know if they even knew this thing was made, but they do make these for the Camaro. I'm sure they make them for the Firebird and the Chevelles and all the other cars, but it goes just like that right there. Actually, to be honest with you, it goes underneath the quarter panel, so what I got to do is take my cutting wheel, and I got to get that cut off, because the gutter rail, or the rubber track rail, actually sits on the bottom of this. This gets sandwiched in there like that, and then the quarter panel goes on it, and then once all that's together, then what we do is we weld it in place, and bam, we're done. This is a flange tool and a punch. Now the punches on these really don't work that good. If you get a good one like this one, they end up working for a while, but they don't work the best. But anyway, you take your flange tool just like this, and then if Minnie can get down here, you can see where the flange is, right here where my finger's at. The first thing you should do is take your little grinder or whatever grinder you're using and grind all this metal down, all this, and get all the paint off. Because what happens is if you flange it with primer, it's really hard to get the paint out of there, and if you have paint in there, it's not going to give you a good weld. then you take your flange tool and you just bam, bam, bam. And you can see this lip right here where I cut this because we're going to be butt welding it around this corner here, and then this will be a flange. I'll go back over it one more time. And then if I have to, I'll cut this down here, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'll wait till I get the quarter panel on if I need to butt weld that. This is the problem you run into, is it won't go any farther. So when you run into that angle there, then what you need to do is cut that out, notch that out so you can butt weld it. Come on over here, let me show you what this punch does. I don't think it's going to work on this, but we're going to go ahead and try it. What you do is you take, if you look right here, you can see the punch. All right, and what it's for is I got to put some spot welds in here. So I've already marked them. I'm going to take my punch, and then see, this doesn't even work on this thick of metal. We're going to have to drill it out, but that's what that's for. It punches out small holes so you can go ahead and spot weld.
It's like a hole puncher.
It's like a hole puncher, yes. And it usually works on other stuff, but on this thick material it won't work. So I got to drill all the holes out. I got to get everything prepped up. We're going to go ahead and install this right here, just like that. Because didn't you say you can put your finger through in the back there?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to cut some spot welds off here so I can get this under this, because we're not replacing this area. Remember, we're keeping this. I got to get all this metal prepped up, and when we get back, I'll already have this spot welded on here. And I've already marked it off, measured it out from the other side. It goes right there. And when this is installed, now another thing is that when we install this, I'll go ahead and take some bonding glue, and I will put glue on this. And then when we put the quarter panel down on it, it'll glue itself to that.
Is it like seam sealer?
No, it's kind of like seam sealer, but it's a bonding glue.
Adhesive.
An adhesive. And what that'll do, you can actually use seam sealer, do the same thing. That'll keep the vibration from not vibrating. Because once we put the quarter panel down on it, it'll smash itself down on there.
Oh, you definitely want to have something in there so it doesn't make
Because
noise.
you get these little vibrations, blah, 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 then you're irritated by noise. This is Pete, I'll be back.
Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know